Jewish girls always sticking fingers up
They
butts.
can't help it.
Can confirm.
Everybody I've seen.
You go.
I stick two up.
You say, this is because I'm Jewish.
It's because I'm Jewish. This is for my people. Welcome to When Harry Dumps Sally.
This is a podcast where we watch a romantic comedy and we talk about the relationship, how long they stay together after the credits roll, who dumps who,
And why?
Yay!
Yay.
This week we watched Boy Meets Girl.
Boy Meets Girl. 2015 film?
Yes. Logline for this is Boy Meets Girl is a funny, tender, sex-positive romantic comedy that explores what it means to be a real man or woman and how important it is to live a courageous life, not letting fear stand in the way of going after your dreams.
Yeah.
They
don't say it there, but it's like about a trans person.
Yeah. And we've got Ricky as our main girl, played by Michelle Henley, who is she became like a pretty popular YouTube vlogger, I think around the same time as this movie, probably before
the movie,
for documenting her transition.
Yeah, and the person who directed it is a guy who also wrote it and acted in it. And he, I guess, had written it and was looking for someone to play her and probably discovered her on YouTube or whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So that's who our main girl is. And then we've got Robby, her bestie, Michael Welch, and Alexandra Tershin is Francesca.
Yeah.
And we've got kind of not like a full-on love triangle happening, but a bit of one.
A little bit of one. I've never seen this film before.
Neither of us had seen this.
Never heard of the film.
Yeah. I did not like this movie, but I also didn't hate this movie. I just sort of was like, that movie just happened. And I just didn't have strong feelings one way or the other. It was super low budget.
The acting felt like I was watching a porn the whole time.
Yeah.
Like it just felt like that. It just felt weird and
it's no like
flat
big
and strange.
time actors. And I mean, obviously, Michelle Henley is like a YouTube personality. That's a different skill set.
Sure.
And I don't know if the other people have done much.
They haven't. They don't have any links to their names to anywhere. And it also like this script. Sorry, Eric. It is very like tell not show. It is dense in this script and none of the writing is good. All the line, there are a lot of really rough lines.
Yeah.
But you know, it's for its time for 2015.
Is it 2015 or 14?
I got 2015, but I could be wrong.
All right. 2015 on IMDb it says 14.
Oh, then it's probably right.
Who knows?
I don't know why I wrote 2015. Maybe it's what happened on the screen.
Maybe.
Yeah. Point is, I think for its time, talking about like a trans woman and her relationship as like young 20-somethings is pretty big.
Yeah, I think like it definitely felt very like this is what it means to be a trans woman, and like we're just explaining that over and over again
in lots of different ways,
which I think was probably important to I think that's definitely important to that time.
Yeah,
I think it's still important to this time. Obviously things are fucked, but I feel like even then it was like we had just made gay marriage legal in the US.
I don't know why I thought that happened a lot earlier, but maybe I made that up.
I think it happened in 2013.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know why I feel like it happened in high school. Maybe that was like just San Francisco or something like that.
That was
California.
Prop 8. That was California outlawing it.
Oh.
Yeah.
What? Outlawing gay marriage?
Yeah.
No way. Really?
Yeah. Prop 8 was a whole thing It banned gay marriage in 2008.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why before that? I guess maybe people were getting it done before then. Maybe that's what I remember.
San Francisco allowed it. That's what it was. Prop 8 was a big deal.
Yeah.
Because also the way that Prop 8 was written was very confusing.
Yeah.
So a lot of people felt like they tried to trick people into voting for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it banned gay marriage
Crazy.
in California. But I think that maybe certain cities were like, no, we're going to let that happen anyway.
In 2008, Proposition 18 had attempted to ban same-sex marriage, but later struck down by the courts.
Okay.
So the ban
It was never effective.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just got voted on.
Yeah.
Okay. But sorry, let's find out when it was actually legalized in the US. Because it was Obama overturned whatever Clinton put into place.
Yeah.
2015 is when gay marriage was officially.
Yeah. Interesting. Wow. That's
So
crazy.
we were like barely accepting gay people as a country
Yeah.
at this time.
Yeah.
Trans people were like, I think probably barely on these people's radar.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I feel like it was not like a foreign concept, but like probably still a joke
Oh yeah.
in most contexts, you know,
Yes.
unfortunately. This movie, so like they don't really say in the log line, but essentially it's like a trans woman who like works at a coffee shop with their best dude friend, and they're both like dating stuff,
Yeah,
and
they're
whatever
dating
unfolds
other
from
people.
there. I feel like it was a
She-
very vague log line, is why I want to say that.
Yes. Her and Robby have been friends forever, and then Francesca comes into town. Ricky and Francesca have like a bit of a flirtation, but ultimately in the end, Ricky and Robby end up together. So that's the relationship.
That's the
we're
relationship,
covering.
is these two people have been best friends for 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do we want to do our countdown?
Yeah. I
How
just realized
long?
I don't know.
Yeah, me neither. Let's think about it for a second. Is the idea that he goes to New York with her?
In the end, so another big plot line is that she wants to go to the Fashion Institute of New York or just generally work in fashion.
She wants to design.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
she-
she goes to New York
Yeah.
in the end. They're in like Kentucky or something, some small town.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
All right. 3, 2, 1,
3
1 year.
I'm fine with 1 year.
Yeah. I think that they're good friends. I love a friendship that turns into a
We
romance.
love friends to lovers.
But I feel like also going to a new city, and especially New York, I'm like, you're going to meet so many more queer people.
You're going to find your community.
Mm-hmm.
I think like Robbie's going to stick out like a sore thumb, you know?
in New York.
Yeah, sorry, is Robby the boy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't think he's gonna like fall into the community as much, you know? Like
yeah,
I think
feel like
she's
he
gonna find her
likes
friends.
her,
Yes.
but like he seems like small town boy.
Exactly. I
But-
don't think New York's gonna be it for him. So I can't
So-
see it lasting long. I'm fine with 1 year.
Yeah, I think that they'll kind of do the thing for a while, but I think that once both of them have figured things out, and like specifically Ricky, once she's found her community,
Exactly.
once she's like kind of established herself and figured things out a bit, like
Yeah.
I don't know that Robbie's going to be like necessary.
Yeah, I
in
don't think
her
Robbie's
life.
gonna be like doing much for her. I don't think he's gonna be stimulating her that much. Very meaningful that they've been friends for so long, that
Yes.
he knows her so well.
And that's nice.
Yeah, but come New York and
That
like
doesn't
life.
mean that it is forever. That doesn't mean, especially when you're like, if they were staying in the same town, I'd be like, sure, be together
for
forever.
a long, long time. Yeah.
But
I also don't know how well, like, small town boy from Kentucky, I don't know how well he can handle like a woman being really successful. Like if she does like find success and like find the exciting stuff for her, I don't know how well he's gonna handle that.
yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't strike me as like super ambitious in a way that would make me think that he'll not be able to handle it.
Yeah.
But maybe he won't.
We just don't know.
Yeah.
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 But, you know, 1 year is generous.
Yeah.
3 years is crazy generous.
You're so
But we just
generous.
love love here. We just love
we
love.
love on this podcast,
Yeah,
and
we
no one can
do.
say that we don't.
We do. Should we get into the business?
Yeah, so we start with 7 years ago. Ricky is recording what seems like maybe because in this movie, Ricky is also like a YouTuber.
Yes.
And she's recording what seems like maybe one of her early videos, but it was like never posted, and it's her kind of like talking about her mom.
Yeah. She's like doing the whole, I feel like it's a thing we've seen where people are like silent in front of the camera, but they're holding up not postcards, like index cards.
Yeah.
Index cards are pieces of paper where they write stuff on it, and that's the message as they shuffle through the cards with the written stuff on it.
It feels it's 7 years earlier, so what, 2008?
Yeah.
Everything about that video felt so 2007, 2008.
Yes.
Her hair is just like flat ironed like crazy.
Covering
she has
an eye.
Crazy black eyeliner.
Yeah.
She's got a lip ring.
It's a strong vibe.
Was like...
She's recording it on her little old MacBook. Yeah, it hit places,
It was sort of like,
sure.
oh yeah, we did dress like that and got real in our feelings and recorded it. And
we're like, this is it. This is the stuff.
This is really good.
This is critical.
Been forced to deal with the internet like teenagers today are. Like, we had the internet, we got into bits of trouble, but I really feel bad for teens today with the amount of internet that they have.
So much internet, so much judgment. Like this posted now, hyper cringe, etc.
Yes.
People
are very self-conscious about what they're posting online because anybody can see it. It's not just like, oh, my small community of who I go to high school with might make fun of me. It's like the world could make fun of me.
Yep.
And that's pretty fucked up.
It is. So again, the script is dense. We start out with Ricky and Robby in a coffee shop.
Yeah, we're in a coffee shop. We're back to present day. They're hanging out. Robby's dated every woman in Kentucky. Ricky's dated boys and is like, maybe I should date girls. She's looking for something long term.
Yeah, she's not looking for sex. She just wants love and marriage, whatever. Yeah. And,
And then Francesca comes in and she's like, oh, I like your bangs. I don't know. She's being kind of sweet and flirty to Ricky, and then I felt like Ricky was kind of being like a bitch to her for no reason.
Whole time.
I was like, why are we? I'm like, she's being like so complimentary of you, and you're just
and
like,
she's being a real bitch.
Yeah.
Like Francesca's like, can I get a frappuccino? And Ricky's like, we sell coffee here.
This isn't Starbucks. Which is also, I don't know. Maybe coffee shops would still be this way, but I feel like Starbucks was also really getting big around. Well, no, not 20. I'm thinking we're back in 2006. Never mind.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, she's just being pretentious for the sake of being
mean to everything, And they like, I think Francesca's like, have you ever been married or engaged, And they both say
Francesca's like, I'm engaged.
And they both say like, men want what they are most scared of. And Francesca says commitment, and Ricky says dick. Like, and they're both like, what? Men want dick, but they're afraid of it.
It's like weird and flirty. Francesca is engaged.
Yeah.
And then Francesca leaves, and Ricky is like, oh, she's, that kind of way. She's a rich Republican debutante, which is fair.
Yeah, Ricky's talking a lot of shit about her. And then, of course, Robby is like, you don't want people to judge you by whatever. Like, you want them to judge you by the content of your character. You should judge her because of her family. Blah, 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 blah.
Which is also fair.
Yeah. And Ricky's like, that girl wasn't a lesbian. And if she were, she wouldn't go for a girl like me. And she means because she's trans.
Yeah.
And then we see a bunch of flashbacks of their friendship.
Right. They've been friends forever. It starts off with there's some dude flashing them on Halloween.
Yeah. Yeah, this guy flashes the kids, these little kids, his dick, and then the kids run away except for Ricky, and she flashes him her dick because the guy flashing says trick or treat, and she flashes her dick, and she's like trick, and then shouts for the police like, police, there's a flasher, and it's it's fun. And then another flashback to a girl playing football, and some other mean football players saying to her like, someone's saying you're a boy, and she's like, didn't your father just die?
Like, yeah,
it's fun.
Throw the dead father at his face.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck that kid.
Good for you. And then there's one more flashback of
Robby's
boys.
with like his guy friends, and they're like, oh, you're gay for hanging out with Ricky. And then she like runs up to meet them in the car, and they're like, oh shit, she's hot.
She's
though.
got a body. What? And they're like, okay, fine. And I don't know, they have a weird conversation about like, your friends were nice to me. What? Because I got hot. And he's like, ew, you're like my sister. And then somehow this woman from the coffee shop just like walks out of the bushes to where they are near a lake. It's crazy.
Yeah, they're at this lake in the middle of nowhere, presumably, unless this is like just the swim spot in their town. But even then, it's very weird.
It's bizarre.
Francesca shows up. Ricky's like, yeah, I want to be a designer. She made her own swimsuit. She wants to go to the Fashion Institute in New York.
Yeah.
We're talking all about that. I feel like there's also this whole thing with like Robby being like, ew, you're like my sister. Ew, I don't like you. We've been friends. And I feel like that's such like I don't know. Obviously, men and women, boys and girls can be friends. And this is not always the case. But when it is, I don't know. This was kind of sad and like that.
Like, what do you mean? What was sad? That he likes her so much?
Yeah, but like you're pretending.
The pretending is so silly. The ew, you're like my sister is too much. It's like, okay, who are you saying this to?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's very silly. He already starts getting jealous when she's chatting to Francesca again.
Yes.
And Ricky is so weird about telling her that she's trans. And
Yeah.
Robby is out in the water being like, tell her.
Yeah, I'm like, Robby, why are you trying to out your friend? Maybe she just doesn't want to tell her.
It's so crazy, you know? And I think she's already been so clear in the coffee shop when she's like, men don't want this dick, but they do want this dick. I don't know how this is news, but they're like sitting next to each other. They find out Francesca's fiance is in Afghanistan. And Francesca's like, I'm just a normal girl. And then she's like, I have something to tell you. And then she gets Francesca's number, and right next to her texts her, I'm a transgender girl. And then Francesca's like, pardon me? And it's like, what? No way, blah, blah, blah. And then she says, where did you get it? Who gave it to you?
Who gave you the trans?
Yeah, I was like, where is this going?
We caught it. She's like, and now I've given it to you.
It's contagious. You have it. She had meant her dick. I think she didn't know transgender girl meant that she like is biologically a boy. I think she was confused.
Yeah.
And so then she explains that.
I do feel like Francesca this entire time, for like growing up, we eventually meet her family. Her family's very rich. Her dad is a Republican running for office. I think given her situation growing up, she's just like very curious and
she's
kind
curious,
of
sweet about it in Kentucky, like in a tiny town. Like, yeah, I'm not surprised she doesn't know anything.
Yes.
And, you know, she asked her some questions, and, you know, Ricky's like, you know, I want a surgery one day. And she's like, do you have to keep it a secret? And Ricky's like, I'm actually very comfortable talking to people about it. I'm like, then why did you text her? I'm a transgender girl just now in a weird way.
I think because she has a crush on her. She probably cares a little bit more.
I guess. I think it's bad writing. That's what I think.
I will not disagree with that, but I'm going to give another possibility.
Yes.
I think that Ricky's whole thing this entire movie is that she's trying to put forward a front of like
I don't care.
I'm not affected by anything, which totally makes sense that she would be this way.
Yeah.
So I think that that's a big part of her issue, is that she's just like, no, I'm fine, because she's had to be. Yeah. She's had to be super confident and in control, and like isn't able to be vulnerable.
Yeah. There's not really like an alternate choice that's safe.
Yeah.
That one feels safer than other options. And they're like, we can be friends. We find out that Francesca's fiance, Robby, knows, and Ricky knows her. And apparently her fiance is a piece of shit.
Yeah. Her fiance sucks.
And then I guess Robby gets so jealous he pulls Ricky into the lake.
Yeah.
It's weird.
He's just getting jealous.
Yeah.
Then we go back to Ricky's family. She's got a little brother.
Yeah.
He's just like, playing with his dolls.
Barbies and military man. He's making the military man kiss the Barbies. It's very cute.
And then her dad is very supportive. And he's like, yeah, no mail yet from the Fashion Institute.
Yeah.
But
And he starts trying to name designers, and she like poo-poos all the silly designers he names. He's like, he's like, hey, I'm doing pretty good. I'm a mechanic.
Yeah.
We're like, yeah, you are. Thanks for letting us all know. We needed to know that.
And then Francesca's talking to her husband on Skype, or fiance on Skype, and he calls her his virgin angel,
Yeah.
which is yucky.
Big yuck. Yeah. He's like, there's nothing civilized about these Arabs saving
Yeah.
themselves from marriage. Not like you, my virgin angel.
Yeah.
Or just like you. He said there's something civilized about. Yeah, it's gross.
Yeah, he's being super racist towards
Very
the
icky.
people in Afghanistan who he's presumably killing because he's at war. And then he's also super transphobic because she's like, oh, I have these new friends. I think that they know you.
Yeah.
And he's, just super transphobic and awful. And it's like, you can't hang out.
He's
with
like, he
her.
keeps calling, referring to it
Yeah.
most of the movie, or the tranny. So seriously, you got to make me puke if you keep talking like that.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I ain't fighting for the America that fucking thing is part of.
Yeah.
Gross. And then it's supposed to
Gross,
be
bad.
like 3 months until he comes back, apparently. So now we're with Robby and Ricky in their bedroom. Ricky's taking her meds.
They're just, they're just chatting about things.
Well, they're talking about boobs.
They're chatting about boobs.
And
Robby
Robby's
likes
like,
small boobs.
I love cute little tits and hate big fake old boobies because
Ricky's
Ricky's like, I
wants to
want
get
I'm gonna get
implants
implants.
someday.
Yeah. And it's like, you love her and you love her tits. Come on.
Yeah.
Why are we pretending?
He's like, your boobs are sexy the way they are, but I think of you like,
As like
a sister.
Like, my brother would never say anything like that. That's revolting. That is so gross.
Yeah.
Like thinking of, like a sister. Whatever. Okay.
No, when people say things like that, I'm just like, imagine your actual siblings. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Siblings are gross.
Maybe he's an only child and he doesn't understand how siblings work, so it's like a theoretical thing.
That is a thing that happens with only children sometimes. They don't understand that you are just inherently repulsed.
Yep. You're not fucking them.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
You're not thinking about their little titties.
Nope. Nope. It's like our friend who used to refer to me as a sister. He was an only child.
Yes.
Yuck.
I've been thinking of that situation this entire film.
Yeah.
It feels very that friendship
Yeah.
coded.
You were like my sister, and then he got so upset when he saw my tits on stage. Do you remember?
Yeah. Well, there was that, but also I feel like he would like get jealous and of people that you were with.
Yeah.
And
Come on, Betty. My brother doesn't get jealous of anyone that I date.
no. He probably also wouldn't want to see your tits on stage.
No, he wouldn't. He wouldn't. But it's like he'd probably just be like, okay. You know what I mean?
He'd probably just be like, geez, why'd you do that?
Why'd you do that to me? He wouldn't like have to have a talk with me.
No, he would just be like, why didn't you give me a heads up so I could have just not looked?
Yeah. Something.
Yeah.
Normal. Fine.
Normal behavior for siblings, not whatever this is.
Exactly. Because no other friends of mine were like, it made me really uncomfortable. None of the dude friends in my life were like, it made me really uncomfortable.
No.
One of our friends came because he's like, I heard you'd be talking.
One of our friends was like, I heard you're going to be showing your tits tonight.
So I came over.
I came to the...
Brought a beer.
Yeah. He brought whiskey. He had a bottle of whiskey in the audience.
And that's a real friend.
Yes. That is a real friend who's like, heard I was going to see your tits tonight, so I brought a bottle of whiskey in.
Hell yeah. Good for you.
That's what I want from my friends.
Yeah, I do the same. All right.
So then Francesca comes over.
It's so crazy.
They're texting. I think they're texting each other.
They're texting, but I'm like, everyone needs to be giving each other more heads up, pretending.
No,
I
people
don't
are
know.
just showing up. But this is a small town in Kentucky. Maybe we just do this.
Maybe
here.
we do it.
I don't know what happens in small towns. They scare me.
It's true. It's spooky. Francesca asks Ricky for a tampon and then feels like an idiot.
Yeah.
And This was crazy to me when it was time for Ricky to do a YouTube video and just pulls Francesca in.
She's like, come on in. I think that Ricky is probably going to be showing off one of her outfits that she made.
Yeah.
And she's, guessing all of the clothing
Yeah.
that Francesca is wearing. She makes some joke about getting laid, or maybe Francesca does, but she's like, oh, I'm saving myself
for my fiance in Afghanistan.
They are being cute and flirty.
Yeah, it's very weird. I think before this, Robbie's gotten pissed and jealous and left, made a whole fuss about it.
Yeah, just like, a sibling
Just
would.
like a normal sibling, normal friend. And then
we find out, they're chatting after this. Francesca is asking more questions about being trans. Ricky reveals that her mom died from cancer.
Yeah. And then they're both saying, like, Francesca's like, you've never been with a girl, not even once by accident. And then Ricky's like, no, never, just been hard and landed in a woman's vagina.
Yeah.
Valid.
Neither's
kissed a girl.
She's like, have you never been with a girl? And she's like, wait, which one of them says, I don't want to be a bad... Oh, no. They both want to kiss each other so bad.
Yeah.
They're like being super flirty.
They're
talking
touching each
about,
other's
have
hair.
you ever kissed a girl? And then Ricky's like, I don't want to be a bad influence. I respect the sanctity of marriage. And Francesca's like, I'm not married yet.
We're just engaged.
We're just engaged.
And Francesca's like, I don't want to have any regrets. Wow, wow, wow. Kiss, kiss, kiss. They make it out. Yay.
And then Francesca leaves.
Uh-huh. She says, I'm sorry. She runs away. Ricky says, wait. And then Francesca left a bow and our girl smells the bow.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's into her. We're back to young Ricky on YouTube. We're back to that video.
Yeah.
And she's, revealing that her mom died, that her mom was ashamed of her. She's talking about how, she was anorexic and had taken drugs and used to self-harm and all this stuff.
Yep.
Which is sad and horrible and common.
Yep. Then it's a new day, new dress, new skinny belts with the dress, no mail. She's waiting for the thing.
We've got so much
2015-14 apparel.
Yeah.
It is spot
Honestly,
on.
The fashion, especially because it's like not a high budget movie, so it really is just like clothes that we would have bought at the mall.
Yes.
And you're just like the fashion was a nice throwback.
It's like all these kind of dresses that are with like little black skinny belts tied in, little cardigans over it, patterned tights with flats, like just very much
ballet flats all over the place. We loved our ballet flats.
God,
they smelled so bad.
So bad. Yuck. Big yuck.
Big yuck with the ballet flats.
Oh God. So she's waiting in the mail still for her hopefully an acceptance letter.
Yeah.
And then
she tells Robby that Francesca kissed her.
And as she ran away, it was adorable.
Yeah. And then she's asking Robby for advice with having sex with a woman. Like, what is it like? And Robbie's like, Robbie's, uncomfortable with it. And Ricky's like, the vagina is very complicated. Explain it.
With various fluids at different times.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, we had no sex education during this, especially I would imagine in Kentucky. My sex ed was pretty bad as well, but I would imagine that it was even worse.
It's in the Bay in California.
No, I am dating someone who was also in the Bay in California.
And the sex ed is different, right?
The sex ed was very comprehensive.
Like what did you guys get exactly? And what state were you in at this point?
Arizona,
yeah. What was the content of it? Just don't do it? Yeah.
I don't remember ever learning how to use a condom.
Yeah.
I remember seeing pictures of STDs.
Yeah.
I remember watching a birth film.
Yeah, we did that.
And it was mostly
be scared.
I think we learned about birth control for sure, but I don't remember it being
that much
super informative. I learned most of my sex education came from my mom, who was very proactive.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Because my parents were not.
Yeah, but maybe they were like, California's going to do fine.
I don't think that was it. Knowing my parents, that was certainly not it.
Yeah.
They weren't like, she needs to learn about sex. My Catholic Peruvian mother wasn't like, oh, she needs to know about sex and do it.
Yeah. She was just like...
Her vibe was like, be careful. It was very clear from a young age. I don't know if she ever used the words, but she got it in my head from a very young age that like men are going to try to like sexually assault me.
Oh, I definitely got that.
And that's basically...
that talk as well.
I don't even think I got the
feel
talk.
like-
She was just dropping it all the time.
I feel like same.
Yeah.
I remember that from like my first period. It was like, now you can get pregnant and be scared of men.
My mom never said that to me my first period. That was me to myself. I'm like, this is so fucked up. If I get raped, like I can get pregnant. This is unfair. And I was pissed.
Yeah.
I was so pissed.
I was so scared of sperm when I was a little kid.
As you
Not
should
that
be.
I was around it, but like I was like, it could just be somewhere.
It could just jump in.
It could just be
It could
around,
jump in.
and it's gonna get me pregnant.
Yeah.
And then what the fuck am I gonna do?
Your whole
And
life's ruined.
And I was terrified of getting pregnant because my sex ed was not that good, and I was just like, I really can't give birth, so
we
I'm
saw a
just
video.
gonna have
It looked
to die.
bad. Yeah,
That
absolutely.
was kind of my plan.
It is very scary. It is very scary.
So anyway, we did not have good sex ed
No.
in Kentucky, and Ricky doesn't know.
Ricky's asking some funny questions. Ricky's like, does it start out wet or do I have to get it wet?
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's no way you don't know this.
She might not if you didn't have good sex ed, but I also feel like from the internet at this point, you could Google this, and I would be surprised if she hadn't.
Yeah, I think...
Or clearly she hasn't.
Especially if she's already thinking about getting a surgery for her, like, for her bottom to, like, look different. Like, I don't know. I didn't believe it. It was a fun conversation.
Yes.
But I was like, come on.
She asks if it's kind of like an asshole.
Is it tighter or is it looser or whatever?
And then she asks, does it smell like fish? Which is the worst thing that was happening during this time. It's probably still happening, but it was like such a traumatizing thing for me that boys used to say about girls.
It's so
all
gross
the
to
time.
say that.
It's so fucking mean.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't. So...
And the times where it smells off, it's because a man has been there and fucked it up with his own shit.
The only time that it smells bad is because of you guys.
Yep.
You're fucking up
fucking
the
dicks.
balances, and you're making shit smell weird,
Yes.
and that is on you. So if you are like, oh, wow, it smells a certain way.
You did
clean,
it.
Wash your dick.
You did it. Yuck.
Drink water, you fucking sicko.
Yeah, they never drink
God.
water. It's crazy. They're like, water's gay.
Water is gay. They're like,
Grow
I
up.
don't even know. Eat some fucking fruit. Like, I'm just like, you can make things better for you and
Yep.
better for your sexual partners if
Yep.
you just like have a better diet and drink water. Jesus Christ.
Yep.
That's
I agree. I think
not our
that's so
fucking
upsetting.
fault.
It's not our problem. No one's like, dicks smell great.
no. And this is the other thing. I'm like, what? You think you got great? Like, genitals smell the way they smell.
Bodies
and,
are
like,
bodies.
most of them should just smell like not bad.
Yeah.
Just sort of like whatever they
Normal
smell
body.
like.
Normal body.
Anyway, that shit always pissed me off.
Yeah.
And it made me very self-conscious when I
Of
was
course,
a kid.
every
And it's just
girl.
like mean.
Yeah. It makes it like so. Okay, so the thing is, already as a woman, having someone go down on you feels very intimate, very scary. And like that is one of the ways a lot of women get pleasure. Most don't get it from like penetrative sex alone. And so like this one way that a lot of women are able to come, making that already feel so scary, and then doubling down, being like, your vagina is an icky place for a
Yeah.
person to be.
It's gross and it smells weird and it tastes bad and I don't like it.
How can you
And-
ever get comfortable enough to enjoy
Right.
an experience
It's
like
so
that?
fucked up.
Yeah.
And then men are out here being like, well, like, I don't know, just fucking worthless. I'm like, if you don't like vaginas, that is fine. Just be gay.
Yeah, go get a
That's
penis.
okay.
They're out there. They're plentiful.
Like, you don't have to hate us.
Yeah, it's so
It's wild how much men who claim to be straight hate women's bodies.
fucking hate women.
Weird.
It makes you wonder, you know? Anyway.
So then Okay.
So then Robby, whatever, leaves. Francesca walks in because she loves just walking in places. Okay. That's Francesca's fucking thing.
Showing the fuck up everywhere.
She apologized for running away, and she's like, oh, my daddy's having one of his parties and she needs help dress shopping. And she's like, you can keep my bow. And then, of course, Ricky keeps smelling the bow.
Yeah. And she's like, I'll make you a dress out of a tablecloth from Target.
Because she's like, I'm not going to wear a dress from Target. And Ricky's like, we are not wearing a dress from Target, but we might make you one from there. Yeah. And I think they do. We see
they
a Target
do. The
bag.
dress that she wears is made out of a tablecloth.
That's what we're supposed to think.
It was very like Sound of Music coded. I know you probably haven't seen Sound of Music. Yeah. She makes a bunch of the main woman, Maria, makes all of the kids that she's like caring for clothes out of curtains.
Classic. I love that.
Yeah, and then they have these fun little matching outfits, and they all learn to sing, even though their father disapproves of singing.
Ooh, father hates singing. Papa will upset Papa with our voices. He hates the sound of music.
Yep, that's exactly it. That is it.
I get the film. I get what happened there.
And then there's Nazis.
Oh, different than I thought. I think I've been to places. Was that filmed over in like Eastern Europe? And
yeah, it was in Austria.
Yeah, I've been to places where it was filmed.
Yeah,
and it meant nothing to me. People around me were singing songs on the bus we were on.
Yeah, and you said, I don't know about this. It's a very long one. You wouldn't like that one. That wouldn't be a musical. I would try to change.
Did they end up together in the end?
Oh yeah.
Are we doing Sound of Music?
Oh my God, I would. It is long.
How long are we talking?
It's got to be 2 hours.
Okay.
It might be longer than that. I feel like it was a 2 VHS, one of those 2 VHSers, like Titanic.
Okay.
But also, listen, if we're gonna dive into musicals, we're gonna start you with Grease, and then we're gonna go through like the campy fun ones before we get to Sound of Music.
This isn't a musical, but I was just thinking of double VHSs when you brought that up. Can we do it?
Do they end up together? All right. Oh, that's a great Halloween one.
That's a good Halloween
October.
one. Yeah.
All right. I love that.
The original, and we could do the remake later if we want to.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've never seen it.
Neither?
No.
I'm so excited.
All right.
All right.
We've
back
got
to business.
one of our Octobers
We're
picked
ready.
out.
And then we can also rewatch Love Lies Bleeding.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah. It's different when you're ready for it, I bet.
Yes. I would have listened. All right.
Okay.
Boy Meets Girl.
Boy Meets Girl. They're like, she's measuring Francesca for the dress. And they're like, are you a virgin too? And she's like, yeah, with girls. And they're kissing again. And they're making out.
Francesca reveals that she lied about being a virgin, and one time when she was drunk at boarding school when she was 15, she had sex with a boy.
Yes, and they both have had sex with a boy once, it turns out.
Not girls.
Yeah.
And now they're like, let's be each other's first girl sex.
Yeah.
And they're like, let's talk about STDs.
Well, they say let's talk about health stuff.
Yeah, health stuff.
And they mentioned that they both wore condoms for whatever their sexes were. And Francesca says she's not on the pill. And Ricky says no sperm comes out anymore.
Yeah.
So
I guess we're safe here.
Yeah. And Francesca's like, is it sad that you can't have babies? And then she thinks it's sweet that Ricky wants babies one day.
Yeah. We're kind of like, okay, maybe you're cute together.
And this isn't important, but I just have to say it. The color grading on this film was so bad. This whole scene, the colors kept switching.
Yeah.
And I was like,
getting stressed.
I was just like, this is a thing you can just do. You can just do it. You can just do it. Anyone could have done this. I don't know. I was annoyed by it. Anyway, so they're like touching each other, and Ricky goes, "You're so soft," like, and Francesca's like, "A girl," and then Francesca's like, "You're so hard," like, and then Ricky goes, "A boy." I'm like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
This is such a silly little scene.
Yeah. I feel like one thing with this movie, I like having the health stuff, like everyone's very consent forward.
Yes,
and we're like talking and stuff
good.
like that. So that's good. They hook up. Francesca's like, does this make me gay? And Ricky's kind of like, I don't think so. Or she's like, I don't know, like, does it matter?
Yeah, she's like, and then she's like, maybe bi-curious, and it has to make her something. And then Ricky goes, makes you human. I don't know. I guess I didn't like this conversation. I get it's supposed to be like nice, like we're all human, but it's also like, it's all these like dudes who are like, oh yeah, like I love doing stuff with other dudes, but I'm not gay. And I'm like, what's going on then? You know what I mean?
It is okay to be fluid in your sexuality. It's honestly pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
And if you're totally straight, then that's great as well. But then don't hook up with people of the same sex.
Yep.
And
Stop
call yourself
pretending.
straight.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. It just seems
and like
not
Francesca
that straight.
Loved this, by the way, because Francesca's like, was it as fun to Ricky's? It was as fun as when you were a boy. And Ricky's like, it's very different, but very nice. How about you? And Francesca's like, it was kind of unbelievable, to tell the truth. Maybe you're not super straight, whatever.
I don't think Francesca is straight. And if we're going to jump ahead to how long her and her husband are together, I hope not long.
Me too. And what's funny about the whole intro to the movie is Ricky being like, I don't want someone who just wants me for sex. Francesca just wants to fuck.
Yes.
Francesca's pushing this all along.
Yes, Francesca's definitely, her vibe is like, I'm about to get married to a man.
Yeah.
I'm about to live this boring ass conservative wifey life.
Yep.
And I want to fuck a woman before I do that.
And she's like ignoring calls from her fiance during their weekly or whatever call. Anyway, then we're back in the car with Robby and Ricky, and Robbie's like, it makes her more than just human. And then Robbie's pretty, like, I don't know what the word is, but like when you're just based on the dicks and vaginas. I forget what the term is, but he's like, if you have a dick and you stick in a vagina, that's straight sex, sister.
Yeah, he's being, you know.
What's the term?
I don't know.
There's a, whatever. I don't need to look it up.
Robbie's just being like, oh, yes, it felt very whatever of this time. Like, it was like, if there's a dick and a vagina, it's straight. Like, two vaginas is gay. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's all this shit that it's just like gender and sexuality is fluid, but we weren't ready for that.
Yeah.
At this time.
Definitely
And then Robbie's like, I am super straight. And Ricky's like, no one's ever stuck a finger up your butt. And he's like, maybe once with a Jewish girl.
That was crazy. Wasn't that crazy?
Yeah, Jewish girls always sticking fingers up butts.
They can't help it.
Can confirm.
Yep. All the time. Every butt I've seen.
You go.
I stick two up.
You say, this is because I'm Jewish.
That's because I'm Jewish. This is for my people.
This is for.
Every time, you know? Yeah, I just can't help it. It's what happened.
It's a part of, it's like in the Torah, right?
Yeah, it's like literally in the Torah.
It's what you learn when you
At
go
my
on
bat
birthright.
mitzvah, on birthright, they're like, this is your birthright.
Your birthright
Specifically to
is
stick
you
two fingers in anyone's butt. And that's why they hate us so much. Okay? That's why. Even though they like it so much and they hate to admit it. Yeah. Anyway. Yep.
Also, like putting fingers up your butt doesn't make you gay. This is another thing. Like fucking men, the like straight men.
Yeah.
It'll be like, oh, my girlfriend, like pegged me, stuck a finger up my butt, and I liked it. Does that make me gay? It's like, oh, did you have sex with a woman and now you're worried that you're gay?
It's crazy.
Like,
it's crazy.
Maybe it just felt good. Like,
grow
people
up.
Just, it's okay.
Yeah.
And maybe you're a little curious, but also if you just want to hook up with women, let her stick a little finger up her butt if she wants to. Don't make her, but if she wants to.
Dudes are like so fucked up about sex. I mean, we're all so fucked up about sex, but like,
yeah,
things there are different pleasure centers in different parts of your body, and the way you gain pleasure from those parts like doesn't make you like, oh, I must be gay because I'm doing these things with a woman.
Yeah,
it's crazy to me.
Yeah,
I don't know. Anyway, yeah, he's saying all this crazy. They're discussing sexuality. It's goofy. It's very silly. And then we're at Francesca's father's party at this insane brick mansion somewhere.
I also wrote down, okay, Francesca reminded me so much of Rachel McAdams in The Notebook. Her character reminded me so much of her character.
Never seen it. I never will because they die in the end.
They die in the end,
Yeah,
so we can't do it for this.
No.
Spoiler alert.
Unless we discuss an afterlife and we think they break up in the afterlife or stick together.
God, they are a toxic couple.
Are they? In the Notebook? Yeah.
I think.
This isn't important. Francesca has great hair this whole film.
Oh, yeah. Great. She really... I don't know. She reminded me a lot of Rachel McAdams.
Yeah.
But yes, beautiful hair, fun outfits, loving the outfits. Ricky gives her the dress that she made from the tablecloth.
Yeah.
And then we're going to the party. There's also like a weird moment where Francesca's like, oh, welcome to the party. Like everyone will be really nice except for Uncle Wally, who helps the little boys pee. Kidding, kind of. I'm like, oh,
yikes!
I don't know that Uncle Wally should be here or anywhere.
He shouldn't be anywhere. Lock him up. Lock him up.
Get rid of Uncle Wally.
Yuck!
Yikes!
And Robby and Ricky aren't even supposed to be here. They were gonna go watch Dracula together in theaters, which I kind of feel bad for Robby about because Francesca's like, come on. So whatever, they come on. And Francesca's mom is very nice about the dress, and she talks to Ricky and Robby like they're a couple. Immediately she says, the rich just keep getting richer, am I right?
Yeah.
And supposedly that's about like how both of them are attractive.
Yeah. She's like, you're together, they're not together.
Yeah.
And then her dad's being a politician. Also, okay, he has this moment where her dad comes to meet both of them.
Yeah.
He introduces himself to Ricky, not really any conversation. Introduces himself to Robby, and he's like, you're old enough to vote. You voting for me? I'm like, you didn't ask that of the woman?
No, because obviously the man's going to make the decision on who they vote for.
Yeah.
She's not going to make her own decision. She's a woman in Kentucky.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Annoying.
So ridiculous.
And then the dad gets back homophobic, transphobic, awful David, Francesca's fiance. Big surprise. He's like, I pulled some strings and now this asshole's coming in. During this time, we hear Ricky having a conversation with two older women, and they're talking about how like being a teenager was so hard. And one old woman was like, I was fat, and the other woman was like, I had acne. And then Ricky's like, I was a boy, so that sucks. Yeah,
and
they're like,
great.
LOL. we don't know.
We can't tell. And the dad makes a whole announcement. I get so scared during the night. But yeah, he brings back her ex-husband, her fiance, who's an asshole. And he's already being a jerk about Ricky being there. He calls her it all the time.
Yeah, he's just being transphobic. Really, really awful.
He's like, how could you do that to me? I'm the laughing stock of the U.S. Marines now.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. Fuck
Grow
off.
up.
You're all like, whatever.
And we're just like, she's not a terrorist. And he's like, how can you be so sure?
Yeah, he's just like, she also has this, maybe this is later on, where she's like, I know your whole thing is killing.
Yeah, that's later.
I was just like, what?
Yeah. She's like, but it's not, you shouldn't do it for people in our country. It's kind of like what she was saying. It was crazy.
It was yikesy.
Big yikesy. And so
mom and dad are like, oh, who's this evil person? And then now they all understand that Ricky is trans.
Yeah.
People have feelings about that.
And her fiance's like, you're not the same girl lately, and is fighting. And she tells him off. And then the father, I was so happy about this. The father like tells this boy off, like, don't fucking talk to my daughter like that.
Yes.
I loved that. Didn't expect that at all.
Yeah. He's a Republican, but he's a 2014, maybe 15 Republican. He will change 10 years from now. Maybe maybe not. Maybe
could get
not.
worse. It could get better. But I just like that he's defending his daughter, period.
Also, Francesca, at some point before her dad stands up to her, she says, Daddy, you are deeply embedded in the Tea Party. You let Bill O'Reilly teabag you.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's just calling him out.
I love it.
And yeah, he stands up for her. and chokes her stupid fiance.
That was sick. I loved that. This is a goofy part. Next scene, we see this the younger brother who uses his sister's computer all the time.
Helps upload the YouTube videos.
And on her desktop is only one folder.
One folder titled
labeled Mom.
And he opens it.
He sees it for the first time.
And everyone's like, oh, I don't know how I stumbled across this.
It's crazy. She's like,
folder.
she's like, you hacked my computer.
I'm like, girlie, you have one folder
labeled Mom.
Labeled Mom.
Whatever.
You think your little brother's not going to be like, I wonder what's in this one folder labeled
silly.
Mom. All right. Anyway, he opens it. He sees all of her videos from when she was younger. Yeah.
What's so weird is there's a whole thing about that's why she left us, and we're supposed to think her mom died of cancer a number of years ago, but then she says there's something that that's why she left us, and I'm like, what are we supposed to think happened here?
I kind of interpret that as a teenager being like she died from a broken
sadness.
Heart, kind of, or like she didn't hang on because of me, or she was disappointed because of me. Like I feel like that's younger people kind of, you're like, it's mystical or something.
We cut to Francesca's mom coming to Ricky's coffee shop.
Yeah, she's kind of like, stay away from Francesca a bit. She also calls her daughter weak and fragile.
Yeah, she starts off being like, you're so strong. My daughter isn't strong. And she's like, you actually are into someone else, not my daughter.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's like, let her down. Let her, beautiful women are the only women who get hurt in the world, which is crazy.
No, who get heard. Yeah.
Okay.
She says beautiful women are the only women who get hurt in the world, and you are beautiful, so you have that going for you. But transgender sounds so ugly, so you shouldn't tell people that.
She says you'd be better off telling people you have a birth defect, which is very fucked up.
And Ricky's like, is that your excuse?
Yeah.
Love it.
But yeah, mom's like, stay away from my daughter and let her down because she's weak, and also I'm transphobic.
Yep, clearly.
Missed calls from Francesca, blah, blah, blah. She gets her letter from the Fashion Institute. And she did not get in.
She didn't get in.
Very sad.
Very sad. I'm not shocked that dress wasn't that pretty from that tablecloth, if I'm being honest, in my notes.
I thought the dress from the tablecloth was like very of the time. I was like, I could see that hanging in like Charlotte Russe.
Charlotte Russe.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, so she's rejected, and fucking Francesca's fiance, David, I think his name, comes up out of nowhere because this couple loves coming up out of nowhere. Yeah. Okay.
Nobody announces their presence.
He stumbles in and says, "Did you sleep with my
Francesca,
fiance?"
he's being all fucked up.
He pins her on the ground.
They're fighting, and then we discover that they hooked up.
Yeah, because he's pinning her down, and she's like, "You like being on top, David? From what I recall, you love being on the bottom much more."
Yeah.
Because she boned him in the butt.
Yep, and we realize that this was the man.
This is the man she slept with. She slept with each part of this couple.
Yeah.
The only people she slept with is this couple. It's crazy.
Now Francesca's there.
And that's why he's so fucking weird about this, is that he had sex with her before, you know? Like, he has this whole weird internalized shame bullshit.
Yeah.
And Francesca's like, what's going on? For some reason, the couple isn't talking to each other at this point.
And now Francesca shows up, because why wouldn't she? She's always just
showing
around.
And I'm like, this is essentially like, the three of them should just have sex. It's clear that the three of them.
This is
a throuple.
Although, fuck this dude, David.
I agree. He's an asshole.
Maybe just kill him.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm fine with that. Let him go back, see what happens.
Go back to Afghanistan and let someone do it. I don't know. Could happen.
Let them fight for their country over there, you know? And Ricky's like, you should talk to David. And, you know, they like each other so much. And then Ricky's like, listen, you don't want me. I can't give you babies. And she's like, don't tell me what I want.
Yeah.
And all of these, okay, this is where the lines get really bad. Okay, so she's talking about how, like, for the first time with you, Ricky, like, I'm just thinking about the right now, here. And she goes, it's amazing, here. So electric. It's a wonder more people don't visit, here. Like, here is the ending of each one, and it's obviously written so horribly. And she just like, but it hurts more too here. Ugh. Sorry, the writing was so
There
bad.
were some very rough conversations. There needed a bit of editing.
And then they need a lot of editing. And then, you know, Ricky's like, can we be friends still? And Francesca's like, maybe someday. It's just, I'm so much better for having known you, which is sweet, but it's also a little bit like,
I don't know. It just feels kind of fucked up. And then Robby comes over and he's like, oh, I heard you broke things off with Francesca. I'm like, Ricky needs to get the fuck out of this town because Robby's already heard this. Like, everybody, small towns are weird.
they are weird.
We know everything about everyone. That's fucked up. That's scary. I don't like that.
Yeah. And Robby is just getting so fired up and being such an asshole in a way that feels totally bizarre and unwarranted.
Yes. No, this was okay. Ricky's clearly trying to be very hard, very strong. She's like,
whatever.
Oh, I don't even care. I don't care about this. And Robby's like, Robby blows up in
so
a way
weird.
that does not feel warranted.
No.
It's a very big emotion. Maybe we can assume that he's been holding all these feelings in for a long time, but he gets real mad.
He says so many. He's like, you can be as much of a bitch as any biological girl. Like, we men get our hearts broken and we stay crushed. I'm like, that's because you don't process your fucking feelings with anyone.
To therapy.
Jeez. And he's like, that part of you is apparently all girl. And it was all just crazy.
It was awful things. And this, you know, makes Ricky cry. And
Ricky says over and over again, I was very fond of her. I'm like, this is weird writing again.
Yeah.
I always check so fond of her. He's like, Robby says to Ricky, you just like run through life all la-di-da. You leave body after body in your wake. And I'm like, what examples of these bodies are there? This feels crazy.
This is also, okay, this reminds me of your situation.
Yep.
It is this friend who's pining over this woman.
Yeah.
And he's like obsessed with her and is like, you're doing all these cruel things.
You're
and
so
it's like,
terrible to all these people.
Taking every information you've given me, which is calling me like a sister and just calling me a friend and like living my life, and you're saying that I'm horrible for that?
Very bad. I'm very bad.
Admit your feelings.
It's crazy.
Or get over them.
Yeah, it felt
Pick
really
one.
weird. It all felt really weird.
Yeah.
And then he basically says, like, you think you're like, essentially he's like, you're not a real anything. You're not a real boy and you're not a real girl.
Yeah.
Very hurtful.
Horrible things.
And she's like, you're right. I'm not a real anything. And
she cries and leaves. Ricky leaves. Because then I feel like...
Yeah, Ricky leaves.
Ricky's brother is pulling Robby back.
Yes.
And is like, I accidentally found this. I
need to show it to
folder
you.
on the desktop. And then now fucking Robby, for the first time in his life, is watching this video and being like, oh my God.
She wanted to kill herself. She was sad and has feelings like the rest of us.
Oh my God, she has feelings. That's so crazy. I never thought of this once in my life.
Pisses me off. It makes me so angry because it's also like, so there are some guys I've dated who like don't know that I have feelings or think I do until I am crying.
Yeah, and they're like, what?
Which is honestly exactly like my mom, which is a problem, but like I fucking hate it. I'm like, can't you just imagine that maybe people are going through emotions and expressing them differently?
Especially, like, let's not be stupid.
This
Robby,
woman has gone through hell.
This woman has gone through a lot. She came out very young in a small town in Kentucky. Like,
you know, her mom died of cancer too. Like,
her
you know
mom
all of
died.
this. You've been friends with her for 15 years.
And now he's realizing she has feelings. So he's like, oh my God, I have to go find her.
Ugh.
He's probably worried that she's like, you know, hurt herself or is like considering that. The first place he checks is the coffee shop. I'm like, it's the middle of the night. You think she's going to work?
Yeah. It's crazy.
I don't know. That like was great. I was like, how good of a friend are you that you're like, the only places I know about her going are her house, work, and the swimming spot.
Like, nope. You're an idiot.
You're a dumb
You're
man.
a dumb. And so he ends up finally going to the swimming spot, and she's skinny dipping in the water. And she's like,
She's
what's
just
all this shouting
swimming.
about? Also, it's been dark until they're here at the lake where suddenly it's lit up by magical light in the world, whatever. And then he's like, I saw that video you made when you were younger. And she's like, you hacked into my computer.
I wrote here, it is a file on your desktop.
The only one.
It was 2014 or 15. We had the technology to hide folders.
You could put a folder within a folder. You could have done anything.
You could have named it something else.
Yep. You could have named it porn. You could have done anything.
It
Okay.
could have just been like receipts.
Yep.
Something boring.
And Robby's like, it seemed like you could hurt yourself. And then Ricky's like, well, now you know all my secrets.
Now you know all my secrets. I actually have feelings.
The writing's so bad.
And then Robby finally admits that he was jealous of Francesca.
We know. And he's like, you're the most unconfused person I know. I was wrong. You weren't confused.
And then Ricky comes out of the water fully naked. She's like, you still think I'm beautiful? And he's like, yeah, kisses her. Now they're kissing. I felt like at this point, what I wrote was, I was like, I don't feel like Ricky's as into him as he is into her, which I think is another reason why this is not going to last, because I think Ricky is at a point in her life where she's like, oh, someone's into me, like I'm into that.
Yeah, someone's into me. They have professed love. Always feels good. We love being loved. Okay, he knows her very well. He's seen her whole body. He's told her that there are things about her body that he likes. Like there's a big safety in that. And he seems to obviously be emotionally into her, which is supposedly what she's wanted this whole time.
Yeah.
But I definitely think she's not as into him as he's into her.
Yeah.
No brainer. It's kind of like a nice comfort place. And yeah.
I've always loved you. They're making out on the grass.
It's crazy that she says I've always loved you. That feels.
I mean, I guess she's probably always loved him, at least in a friend way.
Yeah. She's always had love for him.
Yeah.
Fine.
I don't think that her feelings are matched
No.
or his feelings are matched.
Yeah.
All right.
And she's like, afterwards, she's like, do you regret it? And he's like, how could I regret realizing I'm in love with the hottest girl in town who so happens to be my best friend? It's cute. It's whatever.
Yeah. I mean, that is nice for you,
Yeah.
Robby, you dumb man.
He's so dumb.
And he encourages her to go to New York anyway. And I'm like, yeah, Ricky needs to get out of this fucking place.
Yes.
Then we're talking, Francesca's talking to her piece of shit fiance.
Yeah.
She apologizes
I was
for cheating.
hoping she was leaving him and realizing
She
she's
should
gay.
fucking leave.
She's wearing a cute dress in this
She
one, though. Her
is
dress is cute
not
here.
straight.
No, she is not. She apologizes for cheating on him, and that was wrong. He asked her, like, are you in love with Ricky? And she's like, I love so many things about her. And he's like, are you in love with me, even though I'm a piece of shit? And she's like, I love you.
I feel like all of this, like, Francesca is like apologizing, asking for forgiveness. I'm like, this man sucks.
He is a piece of shit. And she finally starts coming around to it later, where because he does say, like, could you see life forever with me? And she's like, I don't like the way that you hate. Like,
Yeah. She's like, hating is part of your job.
but like people like Ricky aren't the enemy. There's no reason to
I
hate
just
here
feel
in our
like-
country.
I don't know that hating should be part of your job in the military. I think you follow orders, you
Yeah.
do what you have to do.
Yeah.
You probably think that you're protecting your country. Hate seems like you're bringing weird emotions into
your
your
job.
job that you should not be bringing in. And it just seems like you're going to make big, bad mistakes if you're hating.
I hear you and I agree with you. But if that job is killing people, it's so traumatizing that I imagine bringing hate into it makes it easier to process why you're doing it or something.
I think
you know, like
being in the
fucked up.
military is fucked up.
I agree.
I don't know.
But it's so
I don't
weird to
know
be
how
like-
people do it.
It's weird for her to have this understanding, though, to begin with. The idea that, like,
Yes.
yeah, your job is to hate. I'm like, it shouldn't be.
Yeah, it's
It shouldn't
scary.
be. And she's right. Like, you shouldn't hate here. Like, there's no
Yes,
here to
how do you
hate.
turn it off?
And, you
And
know.
I don't know. I was like, I don't think we need to redeem this man. I
We
think she
don't.
just needs to leave him.
Yes.
She has to postpone the wedding while they get to know each other again. All right, fine. Please leave him in the next month.
Yeah.
Quickly.
He admits that he actually did sleep with Ricky right before he met Francesca.
Yeah.
And so, like, he's like, I don't hate her. And he's like, if you don't hate me for doing it, then I won't hate myself for doing it. I'm like, he's an asshole. He's just an
sucks.
asshole.
Get rid of this man.
It's funny that they both have only had sex with one other person, that it's the same woman.
Yeah.
Very funny for everyone.
Well, Francesca also has that boarding school boy.
Oh, yeah, the boarding school boy, which I don't know if she's told him.
She hasn't.
Which is great. Good for her. Keep your secrets, baby girl.
Yeah, and also get out of this town as well.
Leave.
You need to move to California, and you need to live your life because you're not straight, girl.
Yeah. They both say like, did you like it? Did you like having? She asks David, like, did you like having sex with Ricky? And Ricky's like, I like some things about it, but really I just liked her a lot, and I want to be as close with her as possible. And I'm like, it's so interesting because it actually seemed more than physical, but they don't really go into that. They just kind of drop that there for some reason. But it's just a weird couple. They shouldn't be together.
No.
And she's like, we'll try postponing the wedding. We'll try to get to know each other again, and then ask me again to marry you. And I'm pretty sure I'll say yes. And I'm like,
I hope not.
Hope you don't.
Hope you don't. Then we're back with Ricky. Her brother's like, check the mail. She goes and checks the mail. She's got all this fan mail. People are sending her money. And then we find out that Francesca found some YouTuber internet personality.
Sent her the dress.
And was like, we're trying to get our friend to
be able to make a fashion line in New York.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so she's received tons of letters of
each
people
with a
sending
dollar
her
in
money.
it. Yeah. Just like so many letters with a dollar, up to 10,000, which is how much she needs. And then they're packing up for New York.
Yeah. Her and Robby go to New York, and then her brother uploads her old video to the internet, which I think is supposed to be inspirational to some
we
people.
Like have a montage of seeing like a lot of people around the world watching this video together, and it's meaningful.
Yeah.
You know,
they're going off in
her
Ricky's,
dad does let her know, like, that's not, your mom didn't feel that way about you, and you need to change that thinking because it's not going to be useful for you. Like, she didn't actually feel that way. And, you know, like, he's like, your mom used to say to you every night, like, you are perfect in every way, sweet boy, which is exactly what she whispers to her younger brother when she tucks him in, which is, you know, like a sweet callback. And the father's like, I think she would have said sweet girl, like, if, you know, that had been what had happened and she'd been there around for it more. I don't know. It's nice. It's sweet. And
yeah, they go to New York. Oh, one more thing.
The sound in this movie is so bad. If it wasn't for captions, I wouldn't have understood anything the father said, anything Francesca's mother said. Like, the father talking was all garbled. It was all garbled in the mouth. It was, God, it was so
We had rough
bad.
sound mixing. It was very low budget.
Yeah. But then Ricky and Robby get in the car. Ricky puts Francesca's bow on the mirror still. Cute. Car zooms off.
And we're going to New York. And I think, you know, Ricky's going to be working on her fashion line. She's going to find her community of people.
Yeah.
She's not going to. And okay, it could go a couple ways. It's either going to be a really fucking sad breakup because you're not only losing your partner, but also losing your best friend. Or it'll be a nice thing where they both realize they're better off as friends and they will be able to maintain a friendship. I don't know which one it's going to be.
I think they probably, the friendship would be loose. I think he's going to move back to the South, move back somewhere. He's not going to live in New York anymore.
No,
whatever
he's not
friendship
staying there
is
after
going to
they
be
break up.
like tenuous. They talk to each other once a year and she comes back home, something like that. I think she's going to make new best friends really fast.
Yes.
So yeah, I think he's going to get shoved out of her life.
Yeah.
And she'll probably end it, but he can see it coming.
Yeah.
And I'm fine with a year. I'm still like, I could see 3 years too. I think it takes like a few years to make good friends in a city.
I think that is very true.
Yeah.
I feel like in my experience, moving like at least a year.
Yeah. I need like, I think 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before I'm like, this is a good friend.
Yes. Yeah. Good friend for sure.
Yeah.
Having like a crew that you can hang out with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. You know, this movie, it's so funny. The Rotten Tomatoes rating is so high. I think it's 89%, but I think it's like self-selected. Like, I think folks who probably are watching this movie are because they like, you know, want to see like trans representation in movies.
Yes. A big thing with this movie that I felt was just like, we need more diversity in rom-coms and we need more queer rom-coms. So if you are a person who feels like writing a rom-com, just think about that.
Yeah, just do it. You know, like a lot of this was bad. The writing was bad. It probably didn't help that it was written by, I assume, like a straight white guy who also directed it, also acted in it. But like, you know, that's good that we had like anyone talking about those stories at that time. And yeah, I mean, it's hard for us here to find like a lesbian rom-com where they end up together in the end. I feel like a lot of, especially like lesbian stuff, is so tragic. Trans stories are also tragic, you know?
Instead of just showing like people living their lives and like falling in love and
like a happy life.
Yeah, just like a regular rom-com where you're like, wow, this is like, rom-coms are unrealistic.
Yeah.
We don't have to like make it fucking depressing because life is depressing.
I do think with like gay dude romances, I think around this time we were getting ones where like we were having those romances and it was sad and like tragedy stuff. And I think we've like turned the corner there. And maybe it's more time before we turn the corner this way with lesbian stuff, with trans stuff.
I really hope we start making more of these. And yeah, especially right now when everything's fucked up in the world.
Yeah. Also, if you guys know of any and like want to let us know any more that maybe we didn't see, like lesbian or trans rom-coms where they end up together in the end, like we need more of them.
Yeah. We don't want all of these straight couples from the 90s.
No. And we, and you know, I don't know.
I mean, we like those too. We just...
And again, this movie probably very good for its time.
I think that this movie was fine for probably the budget, the time period. I felt like this movie, like exactly what I said in the beginning, which was just like, I didn't feel like I didn't like it. I didn't dislike it. It just sort of happened. And I was like, okay.
I wished from pretty early on that we were able to watch it at like 1.5 or 2 times speed.
Yeah.
It was not good. A lot of conversations and it felt crazy, but it is true. Like for that time, for 2014, 2015, like this feels like embarrassing to say now, but during lockdown, I was dating for the first time someone who is like not a man. And they identified as trans. They're like AFAB, assigned female at birth. And we met on OkCupid. And I'd had that OkCupid account for maybe 10 years or something, for a long time. And at some point on one of our dates, we were chatting and they were like, I know this is weird, but like I saw in your OkCupid profile, you said you wouldn't date a trans person. And I'm like, oh, I have no idea when I made this. And I obviously had no idea. Like,
yeah,
we didn't know about things back then. That would have been what, 2007, 2009, like 2010.
Yeah.
Like I was an idiot. I was uneducated. Like, I'm like, no, I do not feel that way, obviously.
Yeah.
And I'm so sorry you had to like see that and possibly like feel bad about that or wonder about that or wonder if I was someone who would feel that way, you know? Like, and I think about that, I'm like, this is probably great for 2015.
Yeah.
You know, like I think it's good that we were hearing like it was more normalized in any way.
Yes.
Even though now some of it sounds really dumb, you know?
Yeah.
But, you know.
We've like come a long way and we also have so
much more to go.
So far to go because it's so fucked up that like this was so recent.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh, calm down about it now. And it's like, this literally just happened.
I know.
Like,
it's true.
You need to calm down about it.
It's true. And I think it will be like a big deal when we can see a point where like these relationships can be treated as like normal, where it can be light and fun.
Yeah.
Like a straight relationship or like gay dudes, you know?
Yeah.
Like I'm excited for when that happens. And we could have some better fucking movies to watch. Okay. Yeah. Did we do it?
We did it.
This has been When Harry Dumped Sally.
See you next Tuesday.
Yep. Cunt.
You cunt.
You cunt.